Staying interested in photography requires a bit of work, and that's okay. You can't simply become inspired on demand, probably, and that's okay too. If your inspiration comes from unexpected places, I really do feel that that is to your benefit, and to the benefit of those who will potentially consume your creations. Meaning, a photo inspired by another photo, not morally or creatively wrong or anything, but might tread a bit closer to plagiarism than one would hope. However, there is a practical reality to being a photographer, and leaning on something you know will work, either because you've seen it done or done it yourself. There's a time for that, sure, but hopefully those ideas that did not originate in your own brain, those shots, will not also end up in your portfolio, unless your version is wildly transformative. Wildly. If your photo is inspired by maybe a song, that's starting to sound a bit more interesting. But better still, a very personal life experience. Now we're doing this thing called art. That's the line I feel that anyone doing art hopes to cross, and cross often. Creating from a place of intense meaning, a deeply personal place, expressing you as only you can. Who doesn't want that? And the interesting thing is, it's not even that hard to get there. All you have to do is just let go of everything, all the noise. It's an exercise in doing, in feeling, maybe even thinking, but sometimes thinking can get in the way. Overthinking can be an issue for sure. Sounds like I'm describing meditation. I'm not. I personally think meditation is kind of bullshit, but doesn't matter what I think. If that's your thing, no problem. No offense meant. But disconnecting, doing your thing. And the issue isn't, are you good at it? Does it seem like I'm particularly good at this? Or that I care? The issue is, are you honest at it? Sometimes being technically bad is also the most honest state possible. And regardless of how bad you might think you are in fact the world's foremost expert in expressing you. So maybe just embrace the bad, see where it takes you. Sacrificing honesty for flash is a disservice to yourself, and by extension everyone else too. Let your art be selfish, but to the extent that it's not, to the extent that you consider your audience, contribute something. Don't rehash. Or do rehash. I mean, do whatever you want. I'm not preaching at you, I'm just giving you my little thought process. This may be a bit harsh. It comes from a place of having once feared AI and no longer fearing AI, having once despised it and now being somewhat indifferent toward it. Don't know if anyone else will find my thoughts on this reassuring, but I'm hoping so. And it's why plagiarism is on the brain. But here's my take. Yes, AI may well be the death of art, eventually. I certainly thought so a year ago, 2 years ago. Though now I kind of doubt it. And even if it is in a commercial sense, no one can make money. In the sense of making real human art more difficult to discover from the perspective of an audience, making social media, or YouTube even, unusable because it's just overflowing with utter crap. Maybe that's fine. Maybe it's time for all these giant garbage heap platforms to die anyway. Nothing can ever prevent you from doing art to express yourself. What AI is doing, is being used for, is capable of doing, is irrelevant. And if your art becomes obscure, or mine, nobody can find it, nobody can make money from it. On the surface that sounds like a bad deal, but is it really so bad? Approval, applause, money. If those are the reasons you started doing art in the first place, well, I have some good news. You can get those things elsewhere, and much more easily. That's certainly not why I do it. I do it because I have to. It's like breathing. And finally, here's my point. AI is not the first talentless, vapid plagiarist to come along, suck up all the attention with its lifeless, surface-level bullshit, always remixing, never creating, treating that which you've suffered and worked for as an a la carte buffet. Honestly, this description applies more to the shitty friends I grew up with, or other photographers I've worked with, or known, musicians too, than it does to AI. Art has been on life support for ages. People have always been, the talentless, vapid plagiarists. AI how it's sometimes used is just a reflection of this reality. At least for now, people are the ones harming you, stealing from you, making the world lame, not the technology. Some of these people might actually have the potential to be brilliant artists. They'll just never know it. They're staunchly committed to their own originality, and with all the time they spend sucking up all the attention, there's just no room left in the schedule for discovering things that are internal and non-obvious, which is so paradoxically ass-backwards. So busy collecting the conventional rewards of fraudulent creativity while never experiencing the profound transformative rewards of actual creativity. So sure, fuck AI, but honestly, fuck people harder. And if a robot creates a brilliant work of art someday, something that's not just a slight remix of something else I've seen 1,000 times, I want to see it or hear it, because humans can't seem to accomplish that anymore. At least the work itself is what will be judged. The success of such a work will not be based on the AI's physical attractiveness or popularity, cult-like following. So heck yeah, if AIs can start doing real art, meaningful, beautiful art, I'm in. I've just about lost hope for human art anyway, on a mainstream commercial level. On an individual level, there's tons of interesting things going on, and that will always be the case until we go extinct. But so far AI art is garbage, but hey, it's the early days, who knows? But younger me might have reminded myself that AI poses a different kind of threat than previous technologies aimed at making the world as insufferably homogeneous as possible. There's an existential danger to this. Yeah, fair enough, slightly younger me. And that's a fear I, too, share. Still, I suppose. And I'm debating what to say regarding this. I have thoughts, but on the hopeful side of things, having spent a fair bit of time using AI tools, it's clear that AI is a talentless moron at this point. And it might seem like, sure, but AI is advancing so rapidly. Countdown to AI becoming the painter, while we get to clean the brushes. I don't think so. Not anymore. I did. AI had a sudden explosion in capability a few years back, but I don't really see another similar explosion like that on the horizon. But keep in mind, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not an expert in this field. These are just my thoughts. And take, for example, AI retouching. I think that's a really good thing. I don't want to sit there retouching. The concept of retouching kind of bothers me. Like changing the way people look. But not the method for getting there. That doesn't matter at all. This video, by the way, was also shot on the cat camera. It drops frames, but otherwise looks pretty decent. Better than the photos, oddly. Yeah, AI retouching. I don't want to do it. That's the cleaning of the brushes. So, I'm glad it exists. I think that's a really cool thing that's come along as a result of AI, and I would like to see more things like that. Would I actually like to see it take over the creativity? No, of course not. But just to reiterate, I'm not an expert, though I have spent a lot of time digging into this, and my conclusion, this is just the semi-informed take of a layperson, a dilettante, a neophyte. And this is based mostly, I would say, on intuition. I want to be clear about that. I'm just talking here. Stream of consciousness. On a whoa dude, man, bro kind of level. I don't want to spread misinformation, just hope. Little optimism. Here goes. The AI models we have now, that we've had for a while now, do not significantly improve as they continue to be scaled up in the way that we have been scaling them up, throwing more processing power, more training data at them. This is not proving to be particularly useful anymore. That's why not much has changed recently. It was super effective to a point, which resulted in this amazing new technology that we have. But the path to where these giant trillionaire companies are trying to get us is unclear at best, perhaps still very far away. And the way things are going, everyone will probably just kill each other long before AI has the chance to do it. AI is probably the least of our problems right now. Okay, optimistic. Keep it optimistic. Maybe the way it will go is just what we currently have will be refined, improved, implemented in more useful ways. I could certainly use the help editing these videos. AI chatbot, please locate the video clip that matches this photo. Please sync this audio track and this audio track together. That would be amazing. That would save me hours. But the way I've noticed people react with a visceral hatred for anything made by AI, it just seems like it's going to be rejected, which is good. Also scary in a way. Like it's almost like a form of bigotry. It makes me uncomfortable, but whatever. You hate the way you want to hate. I just think you shouldn't hate something for what it is, only for what it does. But another point in favor of AI art not taking over is that people just don't seem to like it. But the giant machine of generic, unimaginative, standardized, sanitized, interchangeable, paper-thin content is what I have a problem with personally, not the technology behind it. I've been mourning the death of originality for a very, very long time. The death of real, the death of honest. So welcome everyone, we can all be grumpy together now. On top of that, I'm a miserable sad sack. I can barely function. And yet here I am doing my stupid art and loving it in the age of AI and feeling like maybe life is still worth living. How do I manage that? It varies, but I'll tell you, sometimes it involves impulse buying a $7.95 US child's camera on Amazon.com, the dumbest, cheapest camera I can find. And you might be surprised how refreshing a change like that can feel. How to stay creative in an uncreative world. Everyone's buying newer gear, buy older. Everyone's buying better, buy worse. Everyone wants more resolution, more dynamic range. Go after less. This camera obviously sucks, but it's also absolutely incredible when you consider all the technology in this thing for $7.95. It's probably not that far off, image quality-wise, from a mid-1990s digital camera that would have cost quite a lot of money. But of course, obviously, this camera is an absurd choice, a piece of shit by today's standards. Why do I love things that suck by traditional standards? I like the struggle. The struggle is helpful at times. Sometimes you need something to fight against, a human failure perhaps, but true nonetheless. Novelty is helpful. Have you ever had the experience of picking up a banjo or something for the first time, and it's like a song just falls right out of it into your hands? Unfamiliarity can be good. It's funny, the Amazon listing, and in fact the camera itself claims 48 megapixels, but real-world testing indicates sort of a 0.1 megapixel vibe. There was a huge delay after hitting the shutter until it would actually take a photo when I was unleashing the full 48, which is not at all upscaled, I'm sure, completely native. However, now that I've moved down to the lowest setting of 1 megapixel, it takes a photo immediately, which is nice and faster than consumer cameras in the 90s and even early 2000s. It has a better screen, better than my 1D, my 5D. Battery life is pretty good. It even came with a memory card. Kind of wild. But I've been struggling to get motivated, inspired. I bought this piece of crap. Suddenly I can't wait to get out and shoot the thing. Go figure.